Hello again, Royals. This is Mr. Everything coming at you with this month's State of the Unit address. We have the date is October 7th, and I'm just basically going to go on and let you know what's going on in the unit and what we have going on and what we plan on happening in the near future. There has been a few changes to the website. It might take you just a few seconds to get used to. I changed the way the menu bar displays, and also I've added our external links. Instead of having them as part of the menu bar, I put them over to the right for quick access. There are two links, important links. They're right here at the bottom. It might be in the way. Okay, there's two important links right here. Link 1 and link 2. This brings you to the Mwo Forms, where we have our Davian Royal House Guard recruitment threads. If you would please click on them from time to time. When I say time to time, I mean like every other day, every day, 2 or 3 times a day. Go to that thread and just put on there something about your experience with the unit, or like, hey, I like these guys, I drop with them a lot, or we're still recruiting, or you can make up any comment you want on there, because when you post on our threads, what it does is it brings our thread to the top of the list and gets more attention. And so more new players that are looking, or I should say, players that are looking for a unit will find us first, because we'll be at the top of the list. If we don't post on there daily, then we get pushed down by other units that are doing it daily. So if you would please help me out. If we get multiple people to post, multiple different people to post in the same day, you'll actually see us. Our recruitment thread will actually appear on the launcher. So please help me out. Help the unit out. It'll help grow the unit. Okay. Speaking of growing the unit, oh yeah. As part of that, I was hoping that we could get a large number of us together. Hopefully we could get 24 of us together. I mean, but it's going to be super hard, because the most I've seen online is probably 20. So at any one time. So if we can get all 20 people together online in a mech, standing on a map together, maybe in a private match, and what I'll do is I'll set my recorder, and we'll have all 20 guys like in their assault mechs or whatever they're piloting. Yeah. And they'll all come over the hill at one time, and they'll all be shooting their weapons constantly, like over my head or whatever. They'll just be blaring. You'll have 20 guys coming over the hill just firing their weapons. I want to do that. I want to film that, and then include that as part of one of my upcoming recruiting videos, because I think that would just be epic to have all these guys coming over firing their weapons, and auto cannons and lasers and PPCs just going off and missiles flying. I think would just be cool. Okay, so we need to pick a day that we all can get on and do that. It's going to take a grand total of maybe 15 minutes, putting us together and launching on a map that has like a ridge line. I'm thinking Alpine Peaks is a good place, because the white backdrop would be very good against our colors, and our colors will be displayed properly, where some other maps like Terra Firma or Caustic Valley, those maps kind of make your colors look dingy and grungy, and we don't want that on this recruiter video. So we want everything to be bright and pop, boom. So maybe Crimson Strait, that's a possible place, but I don't really know of a ridge where everybody can come over at the same time. I know there's the saddle where a lot of people can come across at a time, but not just all 20 people coming across at the same time. So so I'm thinking Alpine Peaks, because there's a lot of ridges there that everybody can just kind of pile over, and I think it would just look awesome. Okay, and that could go in one of our newest recruiter videos, and just for epicness. Okay, and having said that, let's go look at our membership. We're going to go to the admin page. We're going to go to users. We're going to go over here to our regular users. We have 51 members in the unit, pretty much is what it's saying. Um, now, when I scroll down, I'm going to find active members. We really only have 44 because it's saying that we've got 7 inactive. So 44 people. That's a pretty good size amount of people. But what we need to do is start filling up our battalions. Um, Something that leadership and I had discussed about the battalion system. That's something we're going to be working on going forward. But there's a possibility that we're going to do away with the Lance system and maybe go towards a company system. Have 3 floating Lance leaders in the company with the company commander possibly, and then everyone else, all 12 people, being part of a single entity, which is a company. Or we might even do it battalion wise, where we have a battalion, a company commander or 2, so a bunch of Lance leaders as part of that battalion, and the battalion is just a large body of people and they're not in any specific Lance. That's something we're discussing because to be honest, guys, when you go to do your drop, are you always with your Lance? Not usually. Are you with just somebody else that you know that's in the unit? Yeah, that's pretty much the way it works. And so really we just got to get to know each other. But problem with that, the problem with that system is um, the Lance leaders have to train their Lances, or let me rephrase it. The lowest tier, the lowest members of those battalions, the lieutenants, they need to get their training. And I feel that an amoeba type system is going to leave people out and they won't get their training. So I'm scared to move to that type of a system, but it is something we're considering. So we just have to weigh the pros and cons, and that's something that you might see coming down in the future. Okay, and if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask me, Lord Sky, or Cyber, because they're all intimately familiar with what I'm really talking about. Okay, you can ask really any of the officers, because all the officers were at the leadership meeting. Okay, except for maybe one. Oh, recruiting. Yeah, so let's talk about training, right? Training, we have a few people. Training platoon. Okay, we have some people in training. Now, Orion Ward, he's been with us since September 27th, and he has not started any training. That's not acceptable because guess what? It's already October 7th, so that's been at least 10 days, and he has not started training. So I'm going to add right in here, start training by, give him another 7 days, right? Sounds good? Okay, so we'll say, I'll even make it an even number, by 10/15 for risk removal. Okay, because I'm pretty serious when it comes to the training. Sir Payne, I'm glad to see that you've started your training, but you need to get some training done, maybe one a week or something. I know you have 90 days to finish it, but that's an extreme case. That's for people that just can't get it done. So please, if you have the opportunity to get it done, get it done. Deacon Blue's cranking them out. Alaric is cranking them out. Really appreciate that. You each only have 2 more to go. Ketcha, it looks like you've only got 1 more to go, and then you're going to be promoted. You're going to be removed from the training platoon. And look at that. Ketcha has been here since the 28th and already has 5 of the classes done. People that have been here longer than that, Orion and Sir Payne, you should be on par, but I don't see it. That's showing me there's not a commitment there to the unit. So something might have came up, and I understand that, but go ahead and get committed back to the unit. Appreciate it. Drop me a message why it's not happening if you want. Okay, boom. Philosophy. I added a philosophy philosophy page of the website, but I have not really fleshed this out because it's hard to put into words what our philosophy is. Okay, but believe me, over the next few weeks, I will be adding paragraph after paragraph, letting you know what our what this philosophy is basically an overview, a grand overview of what we kind of expect to happen from our members in a battle. Okay, how do we act? How do we pursue a certain strategy or a tactic? What is our primary loadouts? And I don't get specific, I'm talking about generalities. What is our thinking? Do we do this normally, or do we do that? And that's what this is. It is not something set in stone. It's just a mental thought process of when you're in a fight, understand what the rest of the unit is thinking. That's what our philosophy is. Okay, so I'd really like you to go in and do that. Now, this dicta, I know a lot of you probably have already read this. It's been here a while. What it is basically just 10 things that I recommend that you do in every match to be successful. That's really all it is. Okay, event calendars. Okay, I see that there are some, like right here, 2nd Battalion Alpha Lance practice. Awesome. So they're having their practices every Thursday. You should jump in on that. We have, it looks like Ping Steel is going to be doing some BCT trainings from time to time. If you are unable to grab a trainer and have them train you on the spot, you know that there's at least a time schedule that you can go after and, plan your day around and be able to get into it. Okay. We got a Bravo Lance practice here. Perfect. They're doing it every other week, which is preferable. And then, whoa, he's going to be doing a lot of training that day. We always still have the Friday night skirmishes with the Night Wardens, but it seems like we haven't been utilizing the Friday night skirmishes to our advantage, which is okay, because really it's the Night Wardens that wanted us to do these skirmishes with them. So we are basically giving them the opportunity to play against us. But we aren't taking advantage of the opportunity to train. What we're doing is, and this is coming from both the Night Wardens and ourselves, what we're doing is we're just dropping in matches and we're playing our game. What we need to do is maybe become a little bit more, maybe have a little bit more structure. I've been trying to get structure in our scrimmages, so that, and this would also go with the Night Wardens, in that we practice a certain thing. Like if the Night Wardens want to practice LRMs, great. Give us a heads up that that's what they're going to be doing, and then we will kind of gear our training towards how to avoid getting killed by an LRM and how to overcome them. So it goes both ways. Well, that's what I was wanting to know. And if they're planning on doing like if they want to do like conquest missions, and they want to like practice how to perform a conquest mission, let us know, and we'll kind of gear our training towards the same thing, and maybe make it a more of a cooperative effort. Because right now it's just that they bring a bunch of people, we bring a bunch of people, and we fight, and that's it. We don't really talk about it. We don't really, build up to it. We don't take a day or two ahead of schedule and kind of gear our thought processes towards it. We just use it as okay, well, let's just go let's go shoot some Night Wardens, and that's not what we want that to be. Okay, so what I would like to do is maybe get someone in the unit to be our liaison with the Night Wardens, and then have some kind of communications with the Night Wardens, and work out like a training schedule with our Night Wardens compatriots. That would be awesome. If someone would step forward and be able to do that, that would be great. Okay, so we talked about that. We talked about our membership and our recruiting. We talked about the new philosophy maybe for the unit structure, not being so Lance restricted, okay? Maybe make it more of a, this is the battalion and here's everybody in the battalion or company. We might do companies because that might be more easier to coordinate training schedules. But I'm not sure exactly. We haven't figured that out. We just recently had a leadership meeting, and this is something that I want to talk to you about our leadership meeting. And this is a promise that all of your leaders made to me. So in effect, they're making that promise to you. So as members of this unit, so you need to know what that promise was. They promised to provide you with scheduled Lance practice no less than twice a month, no more than once a week. Okay, so you can bet that you're going to receive 2 practices a month. And in these practices, that does not mean that they're just going to take you, form a team, and drop in a match. That's not a practice. That's just a drop. A practice is when they sit down and they talk to you for a good 30 minutes about something that they want you to learn and practice, like headshots, shooting the right torso, legs, tacking, popping, wingman, flanking actions, split strategy, or whatever their ideas are to practice or to train you. They will sit down and they will talk to you about it. And then you guys will form a team and you will do some drops. So you can expect those practices to go for about an hour because you got about 30 minutes of discussion and teaching, and then you've got about 30 minutes of implementation and practice. And then you guys can go longer than an hour. Of course, you can play all night if you want, but just understand that practice part of it should be about an hour long. So you can expect them to do that for you, and understand that they will report the results or lack of results to their company commanders. Their company commanders will work with their Lance leaders to get a better understanding of what their unit or their company is lacking in, and they will work on ways that they can overcome those deficiencies. And then the company commanders will report to their battalion commanders, and the battalion commanders will tell me what's going on in the unit. And so you can expect a higher level of engagement to our unit by our leaders right now, or in the past, in the last few months. And I'm part of this problem. We had a disengagement from the leadership. The leadership basically was just dropping in matches. Nobody was caring. It was lackadaisical. We weren't even trying to compete or anything. If this unit was like that, if this unit wanted to play like that, we would have a bunch of subalterns. Subalterns would be in this unit. But we don't. We have almost everybody in the unit is in a Lance system with a red epaulet. And if that's the case, you're telling me that you want to practice, you want to learn, you want to improve, you want to become the best damn mech warrior unit out there. We're not. I'm going to say, and I'm going to be painfully honest, we're probably under 500. We're probably, I'm going to guess, probably about a 40% unit. Okay, which means when we play a match of 12, we probably win 4 out of 10. Okay, and that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. That's not even good. Okay, if we won 50%, I would say, okay, good. Then the matchmaker system's working its process. But we win about 40%. So the matchmaker's giving us a team that's about the same skill as us, and we're still only getting 40%. That's painful. And that's because of your leaders. That's not because of you. That's because of your leaders, including myself, have not given you an opportunity to improve. But we've made a commitment that we are going to change that. I just want to let everyone know that. Also, I think that we have a strength when we drop as a 4-man team in a match and we are put in with other groups. Our 4-man team usually comes out on top. we usually have the highest level of damage. We usually have the highest number of kills and assists. So as a 4-man lance of random people there, because they're never from the actual same lance, they usually perform very well together and we really crush people. But we have a problem when we start getting into the 8s and above. When we start getting 8 or above people in a match, our 40% comes out. So we need to identify how we can overcome that, and our leaders are committed to practice and training you up on skills. If you are now this is something I'm going to ask from you. If you're a 200 damage player, you do 200 damage in almost every match. And I'm going to say 250, 265, 195, 235, whatever. That area, you need to improve. That's it. You need to become, there's something about your game that is lacking. Either you don't have a good loadout, so you don't really understand how to build a mech to maximize its firepower. That's a possibility, and that comes through training. You don't shoot very well because maybe you pull the trigger too late, or your reflexes just aren't there. That's a possibility, and that's something that you just need to practice, because practice makes perfect. Maybe it's your machine. Your machine might not be able to, and that includes anything from internet connection, to wireless devices, to a bad video card, to a bad processor, to a laptop, anything you're playing wirelessly. These things can affect your FPS. And if those things affect your FPS enough, like below 20, then you will miss shots more than you will hit. And then that's why you're thinking you're doing an awesome job. You're like, all right, I got it right on there. Boom. No damage. And the reason that's not the game, that's you. So you need to make adjustments. Okay, I'm asking you to make an adjustment. Plug in a wire. Maybe consider getting a better video card. Maybe get rid of that wireless mouse. Go with some wired equipment. Don't use a joystick. Okay, those are things that I'm asking you not to do in MechWarrior. You've got to get over 300 damage on a regular basis. Okay, I understand even the best, guy out there, he's getting 800 damage on a regular basis. Yeah, he'll shoot a 200 every now and then, right? He'll shoot blanks. But that's not the norm. I'm talking about you normally run 200 damage. Not acceptable. You need to become a 300 or more. It might be that your playstyle is not in line with our playstyle. You might be using LRMs. You might be in the back thinking you can snipe with that PPC from 100 million miles away. You might think that your LRMs are just crushing the enemy. You're not going to score very high with these weapon systems. You're running around with 6 machine guns. No. If you see that those loadouts are creating 600-700 damage, okay, awesome. I'm okay with that. But if you see those loadouts are only doing 200 damage a match, it's the loadout. Okay, it's the play style. Our play style is to get right up into their face and punch them. High damage builds, getting right up in there and gorilla stomping them, and not ping, 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 ping. That's not what we do. We get up there and we go boom. That's us. That's the Davian Royal House Guards. Sometimes it works. Some 60% of the time it doesn't work. No, I'm kidding. But that's only because we have some guys running around doing 200 damage. I think that's one of our problems. Another problem is we're not working as a group. We're not coordinated, and we have a lot of issues that we need to work on. It's not just those 200 damage. Okay, that's only one minor problem. Okay, we have a lot of different issues that we need to work on, and we're identifying those. And the leaders have committed to become more engaged with you, and I think I've said that already. So, all right. final thoughts. Community Warfare is coming out in a short couple of months. Okay, I'm predicting January we're going to see Community Warfare. Before that, before January, I predict maybe November. I'm thinking we're going to see dropship mode. It's a mode like Assault, Conquest, Skirmish, dropship. When you pick dropship mode, you're supposed to pick your drop deck. Okay, now your drop deck is a light, a medium, a heavy, and assault mech. You will create a drop deck and you will put in a light, a medium, an assault, and a heavy. Okay, and you can't drop in the dropship mode unless you have this drop deck built. What happens is when you were killed, you get to pick another vehicle from your drop deck, and or you might have to line them up in order before the match starts or something. I don't know the details, but you'll drop with your first mech, it dies. You will drop in with your second mech, it'll die. You drop in with your third mech. It's going to be a war of attrition because you're going to have 12 people times 4 mechs, so you're looking at 48 mechs that have to be killed by your team to win. You will not be able to approach the dropship. Apparently, is a leopard class. It will fly in. It will land or hover somewhere, and your mech will jump out of it. And there will be people trying to camp the drop zone, and spawn campers, and they will try to camp that area so when new mechs are coming in, they'll be able to kill them. But the problem with that is the leopard class dropship is going to have dropship class weaponry, which is basically a one-shot kill or a one-shot or a two-shot kill on you. And so if you're spawning or camping the spawn point and that leopard class dropship flies in, it's going to blast that mech and he's going to be obliterated. So nobody's going to want to spawn the camp or camp the spawn. And that's what Russ was talking about in the last town hall. Okay. So what I'm asking you to do in the near future, like real soon, is to make sure you've got one mech in each weight class that you have an awesome tournament style build on and that you have it mastered. And once you do that, then start working on other things. Okay, now speaking of community warfare in January, possibly, I'm just guessing January. We're an inner sphere unit. You have to have 4 inner sphere mechs, light, medium, heavy, and assault, mastered. Okay, so work on getting one mech in each weight class mastered in the inner sphere. I don't care if you have clan mechs and you're enjoying the stuff and you're blowing stuff up. I don't care. But when it comes to community warfare, and we're dropping in community warfare almost exclusively, make sure that you've got the weapons and the capability to do it. Don't be adding additional mechs or whatever. Just what you need to be working on is mastering the mechs that you have in each weight class. If you don't have a light, pick up a light. They're cheap. If you don't have a medium, grab a medium, or not, or just get your free mediums or whatever. And yeah, that means you got to get a few of them, and that means you got to master them. Once you master them, sell the others. That's okay. Just make sure you've got a light set up with modules and everything else set off to the side. Make sure you've got a heavy and a medium and assault all equipped with modules of their own, not a set of modules that you have to move around from point to point, because when it comes to dropship mode, you can't. You don't have time between your mech dropping to switch modules. You have to have one in. Okay, so get ready for that. Okay, community warfare. When we do community warfare, it's going to be more of a historical based battle. So if there is a world that's being attacked, it'll say these are the 2 sides that are participating. If you want to drop in that, you are going to be de facto, like we'll be Steiner or we'll be Karita or something against Jade Falcon or Ghost Bear or whatever. And when we go in and it says, okay, we're going to be playing in a Karita battle. Okay, you are assuming the role of this one Karita unit, and then that unit brought XYZ mechs to the battle. We'll have to build our company to match that, what we call, not playlist, um, army list. So they're going to give us an army list of this is the mechs you can bring, and we will do our best to fit into that if we can, and drop in that match. And then the clan players that we're going up against will have to do the same thing, and then we will fight on a match. If we wind up fighting in a match that Davian actually participated in, and we are Davian players, then we will earn loyalty points. We'll probably earn bonus loyalty points. We're probably going to earn loyalty points no matter what match we're in. Might be very minor, but when it's an actual Davian battle that a Davian unit actually participated in, we're going to earn loyalty points. And these loyalty points are going to be spent on, what my understanding is, buffs. So you will actually be able to get a buff to your mech, either heat reduction, damage increase, range increase, a lot like the module system, but it will just be a global add for our unit because we will have loyalty points. The unit will have loyalty points, and we can spend those. So I think that's all going to be exciting, actually. A lot of people will be doing a lot of different things with their loyalty points, and we'll probably have to try to figure out what the best combinations and best buffs are to get for our unit. So, okay, so look forward to that. And hey, that's all I had to say, and I'll see you on the field.